We'll look for start the stream off. So we'll give it 5 minutes, just have a general chat, and then we'll see what happens. So I thought we were going to do it tomorrow because I've just been pulling all my room out looking for one bloody radio, and I found it. We'll look for start the stream off. So we'll give it 5 minutes, just have a general chat, and then we'll see what happens.
Was that you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've ripped all that apart to find one radio. I found the radio, and guess what? I've gone and misplaced it. Fuck it, I'll go over that shit again. No way. Yeah, I was looking for a radio because I hacked one a while back, and it weren't bad.
Yeah.
And now it seemed to have disappeared again.
Did it go missing, or did somebody take it from you?
Oh, I just misplaced it. It's a bench one. Made it a hackable radio.
I really want to hack radio. I got the I just have the SB11 or you know what I mean, the SB11.
I don't really hack them anymore. Can't be arsed. I buy them. I try and hack them. They can't be hacked. I just put them to one side. But if they are hackable, then I just hack it for myself, and that's it really. I did do a couple for Dave Dimlow, which he's got now, but I'm not really doing radios anymore. It's just too much hassle. Because I always intend to go and buy one and go and blow it up, or if I've got it working as a ghost box, I'll go and buy a couple more, and then I'll go and blow them ones up.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been chipping at little cameras lately, taking the UV filter off and whatever.
Oh yeah, making them into little full spectrum cameras.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Right. Well, not many on at the moment. Just keep waiting for a little bit. Just generally have a chat. Got 3 people.
Yeah. And last time we were killing it whenever we used to go live. So many people would watch us.
Well, after you left, a shitload of drama went on, and I ended up breaking my hand, punching the door of the stress and the anger, suicidal thoughts. And about 6 months ago, someone done some really nasty shit on me, so I got him arrested and wait for that to go to court. I completely lost it for the paranormal for just over a year. I just didn't want to do nothing. But I'm actually getting back into it now, doing ghost boxing, having chats, hangouts and stuff like that. So Lindsay's been on a few times having a chat with me and Dave. And I told him, probably do a stream one night. He goes, I'll come and watch you. I've got nothing to do. So, maybe later, after we've done what we're going to do, we can carry on doing a hangout if you've got time. And invite Lindsay and Dave or whoever comes on.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Do a bit of catching up kind of thing.
Yeah. It's been a while. I dropped out of the paranormal for a while now, and when I decided to come back once this pandemic started, trapped inside, I just decided to rebuild the brand and bring everything back. So that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, it's not doing a bit of ghost hunting. I've not been able to go out anyway because the pandemic, as you know, and my nephew Aaron had a near-death experience, and I don't know what happened. I can't remember what exactly happened to him, but it's put him off the spirit world. Completely. Don't want to do any kind of ghost hunting anymore. So, when was it? Boxing Day when I went over to my niece's where we always have a Boxing Day get together. He wasn't there, but I said to my other nephew, if I come down, will you take me up to Jordan's Wood and we can do another ghost hunt up there? He said, yeah, I'll take you up there. I said, oh, great. And then my other nephew, Simon, said, well, if you want, I'll come with you. I said, well, we ain't got nothing to do. Because Simon, isn't into the paranormal, but he doesn't mind coming out sometimes if he's not doing anything. So,
Yeah.
I'm hoping to go down there. But over the last 6 months, because I wasn't doing much paranormal, because I was still trying to get myself back into it, and I wasn't really doing much. I started doing bushcrafting. I've got some land on a horse farm where the guy gave me permission to do milk detecting. Then I
Hmm.
detected on his land, and went up to him one day. I said, "Yeah, look, I'm very grateful for you letting me milk detect on it, but we've had some shitty weather lately, and I don't want to be like taking shelter in the horse shelters. It's the only chance I can make myself a shelter." He said, "Yeah, knock yourself out, after 3 months." So I've been building myself a little shack over there, and I was going to go there tomorrow, but nowhere near. And doing this now, I don't think I'll be able to get up early enough to go out. So I'll probably do it Sunday or Monday, go over, because I've just got to put some tarps on and try to get a bit more waterproof. Because I plan to go over there towards the end of the month and do a night session, stay over there all night and probably do like a little ghost hunt over as well.
Yeah.
I've got to try to fight my fear. I don't like being out on my own, in the dark, especially in the woods, kind of thing. And where my shelter is, it's got like a bit of woodland there. That's where I've built it. So, that's what I want to do is go out and spend the night over there and, take a ghost box and EVP recorder or something, camcorder, and probably try to go live over there as well. But, it depends on what the weather's going to be like. I'm not going to
Yeah.
go, it's pissing down the rain kind of thing.
We recently came back from our hotel investigation in Galveston, and we also had a residential investigation that we're still going over footage and stuff for. It's a lot of stuff to be going over right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got 5 people watching at the moment, so we'll give it another 5 minutes and then we'll start. Because, people will get to watch it later anyway.
Yeah, man. Ian's stuck around, huh?
Yeah, he is always here. I've put a link up under the description for part 1 and 2 of our How to Be a Ghost Hunter.
Okay.
So I was going to send you a message tonight and say, hey, you got to watch the videos that we did in the previous streams so what we done. But if you want to start
Previous channel
again, then we can do part 3 as like, doing it as part 1, 2, and 3 again. I'll ask you some questions and, the main questions on, how you go about doing a paranormal investigator. How do you go around getting, how to do an investigation? Where do you go? If it's a residential, do they contact you, or do you contact the residential themselves? Is it more by hearsay, or do they contact you because they know you're doing it? And then once you get there, what kind of things you do? How do you approach it? How do you approach the people? Do you do any research and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
So we've got a few coming on now. Right. Oh, look, Annie Essex is there. All right, then, let's start. Right. Okay, we've got here my special guest, Travis from Chips Paranormal. We used to do a lot of streams together in the past. We did 2 particular streams called How to Be a Ghost Hunter. And it's only just recently that he's came back into the scene and connected back to Facebook and contacted me. He said, what you doing? Can we do a stream sometime? So I said, yeah, well, we can do part 3. But Travis has got part 1 and part 2. So we're going to do part 1 and part 2 and part 3 all tonight again. So I'm going to pass it over to Travis and let him explain where he is, what kind of stuff he does, how he got into the paranormal. Then we're going to start talking about how to actually be a paranormal investigator. So, over to you. How do you get into it? What you been up to?
Yeah, so like I said, I've been gone for a while. Quarantine has made me want to do something, so I rebranded Chips Paranormal. I started my own website. I built a team, and we have loads of equipment now. So it's way better than it was before. CHIP stands for Cedar Hill Investigations of Paranormal Sightings. And I started it when I was like 12 or 13. We, um, we, I was like 12 or 13. I was with my friend. We went into his house and I had a $5 camera and um, I had a $5 camera, and that's it. We just sat in his room. We would ask questions and stuff. We didn't know what we were doing, and we played back the audio, and we were catching these crazy EVPs. And he didn't even believe in spirits until now. And yeah, so that's kind of where the ghost hunting part started of it. I got into it because I grew up in a haunted house, and living with my parents and stuff. They would always tell me that there were spirits in the house, and they would always tell me stories of what was going on inside the house. And one day I was watching a haunted episode with my dad, and he explained to me that people investigate for ghosts and spirits, and you can record them on, photos, videos, whatever, audio. And ever since then, I've been trying to, I've been studying ever since I was like 7. So I've been doing this a while. And yeah, so recently we just came back from one of the most haunted hotels in Texas, was the Hotel Galvez in Galveston, on the coast. And we're going to a jail next, so that should be fun.
A nice haunted jail.
Yeah.
Killed and murdered and slaughtered and beaten up. That's going to be good.
So fun. Yeah.
So, what's the most scariest thing that you've seen so far? Fuck off, laugh.
The scariest thing?
Yeah, sorry,
So,
I've got like pissing me off. Either flying
honestly,
or they bloody annoy me. Yeah, so your most scariest thing that's happened to you?
so it takes a lot to get me scared. And I actually have a video pulled up right now if you'd like to see it.
Yeah, you can up and I can screen share it.
Yeah, I can do that. Let me give you a little background first. So this is a residential investigation, and this is from our CCV cameras that are just, up. And I was in this lady's room, and I had no equipment with me. I like to do this sometimes where I just leave all the equipment, at Nerve Center, and I'll just go into a room or a haunted area, and I just like to sit there and kind of get, feel for what's going on in the room. And so that's what I was doing here. And I'll start the screen share. Okay. Is it working?
No.
Okay.
I think what you got to do is put it up on your YouTube, and then I can.
Here we go.
Oh, there we go. Right, that's it.
There you go. Okay. So this is in her room. I'm down here. I just jumped back because I didn't see anything, but I felt this really dark, heavy energy, this heavy presence. And this confirms it right here in a little bit, that what I was feeling wasn't just me. Look right here in my chest area, maybe kind of towards the TV, just around that area. Right here. Right there. Do you see that?
No, play it again. It's a bit hard to see it on the small screen. Although I've got it on, like I put it on as a large screen, but I'm only seeing it small screen still.
Yeah. Look right here. There's an orb that flies from my chest.
All right. Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was having it was feeling really, really heavy. And I had, there you go. Yeah. That freaked me out. Not the orb, but there was the whole, just the feeling, the heaviness of what was happening.
Hmm.
It was scary. One of the most impressive things I've seen that seemed to come pretty much out of a, a horror movie was I was trying to light a fire in my living room, and I've been at it for like 10 minutes trying to light it up, and it wasn't working. And then I hear this weird slapping sound on the wood behind me, and I turn around, and there's a woman, a full-fledged figure, running down the hallway barefoot, and she's wearing this white dress, and she just turns the corner and just runs down the hall towards my room. And then I'm like in shock, and what knocked me out of it was the fire lit up after that.
Hmm. So do you think that was actually causing it not to light up because of the cold air that it might have been there?
What'd you say?
Do you think that's what's causing it not to light the fire up? Because there might have been some kind of energy stopping you to light the fire up, like the cold air that they normally give.
I don't know. I didn't feel any cold spots, and I actually never felt cold spots until I investigated the Galvez. I got really cold at one point, and then my friend got really cold. But after doing all this and all my experiences, I rarely have cold spots, which is kind of weird.
Right. So here we go. This we're going to start, right? Right. I want someone here to do an investigation, right? This is just me pretending to be someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So I get to hear about you and your group, right?
Yeah.
And I contact you saying that I believe I've got some kind of crazy activity going in my house right now. I keep hearing knocks, bangs, cold spots, shadow figures, things are being moved, I'm being scratched. So I contact you. I'll tell you all that. What do you do?
So
As a new ghost hunter, as if you're just starting out yourself. Not what you've done already, as you would start out as a new, a new group. Because this is more like how to be a ghost hunter. So when I ask you the questions, you've got to tell me how you would deal with it as a new group of ghost hunters. So other people get to see the video and they want to start up to be a ghost hunting group, they can follow your answer in hope that so will help them to get ready to do their first investigation.
Okay. So their first investigation, and this woman's getting scratched already.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, because the woman's probably had activity from day one since she moved into the location. So I've rang you up. My name's Joanna. I'm telling you, I've been scratched. I've been pushed. I'm seeing shadows. Things are moving. Knocks, bangs, and it's scaring me and the family. So I've contacted you, and you now got to tell me what you're going to be doing, and how you're going to do the investigation, and even tell me when you can actually do the investigation.
Yeah. So first, I would want to know if you have any kids. It's pretty important to make sure they're safe and see what's going on with them. And so, oh, sorry. Hang on. Give me a sec. Let me get situated. Oh, okay. So when you start a group, you want to make sure you have people you trust 100%. You need people who show their dedication, that know they're dedicated, and that aren't just going to quit after the first investigation, because you can find some people that you might think are good, and once they start investigating, it can be hard for them to handle this because they've never dealt with anything like that before. especially with residential investigations, you want somebody who can be, so if you're just going to like a cemetery or something and just doing an investigation, that's fine if they don't really know what they're doing. You kind of want to set a foundation so everybody knows what's going on, what is, what all the equipment is, how to use it, and just make sure you're really professional with residentials, even if you haven't done it before. Just be professional. Try to hold yourself up, because if you're scared or if anybody on your team's scared, that's not good for, the resident who, like, you don't want to invite more people into your home that are just scared. So first, find a group of people you trust. It's people that do some test investigations before you go out and do go do test investigations before you do residential, because residentials are pretty serious. They put a lot of trust in you. Out of all the people that they could have called on, they called you, so you have to take care of them. So scratching is a pretty big deal. What are the knocks like, Steve?
Right, so looking, so you probably ring up the owner and find out what the situation is. So I've told you, right, I've been scratched. Funny enough, myself was scratched the other night, actually, all down my neck. But yeah, the woman, pretend I'm a woman, I've contacted you. Right,
You're very pretty.
Oh, thank you, darling. So I'm married.
Oh, well.
I'm married and I've got children. So I'm telling you, situation of being indoors, either on my own or with my family. We've noticed shadows. We've heard knocks and bangs. Things are being moved around. I'm being scratched. My daughter is being she feels like someone is trying to communicate with her, talk to her when she's sleeping, and if she don't answer, they kind of pull her out of bed. So this is more I would say more of an aggressive kind of haunting. Now, although you're a new group, right, but she doesn't know that, yeah? She's telling you all this information. How would you go into that investigation? Would you try and go to a library and research the actual area to see if there was any other kind of reports of hauntings? Would you research to see who owned the house previously before she did? Or would you actually ask her if she knew who actually had the house before she did? Would you ask her, was there any kind of deaths in the house? Or would you research that at a library?
Yeah. So if you're new, you can use this website called diedinhouse.com. It's like $11 a search, or you could pay like $30 for 3 or whatever. And for that search, it'll give you all of the property's information. Yeah. So you can look that up. It'll tell you if there's been a recorded death in the house. It'll tell you if it'll tell you everybody's name who was associated with the house, when the year it was built, the square feet, the bedrooms, everything. It'll tell you everything. And so, if it says that there's a death in the house, or if it says there was a death associated with one of the names, it still could be in the house. They just couldn't prove that it was in the house. So if you pull that up, it tells you, there's deaths in the house. Maybe talk to her and see if she can, if she knows if the previous owner, or if she knows the previous person who lived there, if they experienced anything, if she knows that. I don't know. Or if you can get in contact with the owner, if she's leasing or whatever, and see if they know anything. But research is really good. Do that first. The first thing you always want to do is get the logical out of the way. And that's how we get a better understanding of the paranormal. So is the scratches consistent?
So if I'm talking to you as yeah, like I get scratched about 3 times a week.
Okay. Is it more than one, like scratch?
Sometimes it's 2 scratches, sometimes it's 3 scratches,
Okay.
and it's
So the
sometimes
first.
parts of the body. It can be on my arm, neck, back, stomach, leg.
Mhm. So in this case, it sounds paranormal. In another case, if it's just like, say, they hear a bang or whatever, and then they notice a scratch on them, and this is the first time and only time they've been scratched. Um, that it's a possibility that could just be some logical thing. Maybe she scratched herself without knowing or noticing. But in this case, this is paranormal. So what you would do when you're talking to these people is find the best day for them when they want to have you over,
Mm.
and see, you want to work around them. So it's their time. You tell them, if they want you in their house for a limited amount of time and that's all you got to work with, then that's all you got to work with. You can't do anything about that. Or maybe reschedule to a day where you can have more time. But you ask them to have the least amount of people in the house as possible. Some people aren't comfortable with, just leaving a group of strangers in the house. So they might hang out with you, not following you around or anything, but, just stay with their property. But, does this lady have any kids?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
And,
Right.
and
No,
there's
she
something
feels
strange.
like she's being disturbed at night time. It's if someone wants to talk to her, and if she doesn't wake up and talk to this unseen entity, then she tends to get pulled out of the bed.
Okay. Do you feel like there's only one spirit in the house, or have the kids seen any different types of spirits, or has anybody seen any spirits besides the shadows?
Like, don't get viewers, yeah. This is just like me pretending to be someone who's asking for help from an
I know,
investigator. Some
but this
people
is
some people might not know. So, yeah, like, and I'm pretending to be a woman. Yeah, so my husband's seen a dark shadow fly across the kitchen. He's seen the kitchen freezer door open and close by itself. Um, get a load of cold spots around all different parts of the house. Um, the more activity is in the child's bedroom and in the lounge, the living room. And, we see a lot of shadow figures, like shadow movements in the lounge and in the kitchen as well.
shadow figures are one of the most confusing pieces to, confusing. Sorry, I was reading chat. So shadow figures are one of the most confusing parts of the paranormal because there's just so many like different theories of what shadow figures are. Um, if you take away the theory of it being
Yeah,
what were you saying?
hold on.
I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
I'm just saying Dave is on the side chat. I'll see if he can come on and hang out later on.
Okay.
No,
But yeah,
let me just fucking click on what Dave just said.
yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of different theories one of the main confusing ones is interdimensional beings, our shadows. um, and if you just take that idea out of it, there's I would focus on the energy that surrounds the being. If what you're feeling. So if this shadow shows up and you start feeling negative, um, negative energy, then one, it could just be a negative entity, or it could be demonic. Um, some people suggested that shadow figures are just spirits that don't know how to take their full form yet. There's just so many. What do you think? What I want your input about this. What about
Uh,
shadow figures?
well, shadows are, to me, this is how I see it. Shadow people could be spirit people that are trying to um, gain your attention through that corner of the eye thing, yeah? Because, like, maybe they just don't have the energy to make a knock or sound or to do any other kind of thing. So, I've been to a location, which was the Georgian house, and they said that they've seen many shadow movement in the stairwell. And me and Aaron, when we was over there, we actually did see shadow figure, like shadow movement going across the stairwell when we was actually investigating. But to me, a shadow person is just possibly more like a spirit that's trying to gain your attention. Yeah, there are different types of shadow people. I know there is, but to me, the one that isn't like negative and like demonic and evil. You just see like a shadow go past. It's more of just like a spirit that's trying to manifest itself and try to get you to acknowledge that it's there, I suppose.
Right. Yeah.
But you got
Yeah.
so
Okay.
many people,
What?
Hat Man, you got the Shadow Man that comes out from underneath your bed, and they are more of an evil kind of like entity, not so much a spirit, but an entity.
Right. Yeah. When I was about 12 or 13, I had a big problem with shadow figures showing up. And it started out with nothing, like just kind of the corner of the eye stuff. And then it turned out to them like standing over or underneath street lamps while I'm looking outside and at night. And then they came in my room, and then they started messing with stuff, and it just those are some really bad years.
Yeah.
That was yeah. That's there's I think you're right. Maybe shadow figure or whatever isn't just one specific thing. It's probably a folder of different things. Um, yeah. So okay.
So right, okay, you've spoken to me being the female, and I've given you the full rundown of what's
Mm-hmm.
going on. We've arranged for you to come round to do an investigation. Would you do like a small investigation first to just like get some data, more information from that person, or would you think that that information that you've already got from speaking to me on the phone, right? Do you think that's enough information to do a more kind of like advanced investigation? So would you do like a little mini one, or would you just go straight in and do a full investigation and possibly do it all night?
So I would go in and set up. Uh, I first, what you would do is go around the house and debunk any claims you can. Maybe close doors, step on things or whatever. See if the refrigerator or the freezer door would open, like he saw.
Mm.
Um, just try to knock out the logical first. But what I would do is set up as if we are doing an all night investigation, and we would go for about 3 to 4 hours. And if we're picking up, a lot of activity and we're getting some good hits, then we would just keep going for another few hours. And I base it off of whatever, how good of evidence we're getting and activity we're getting. So yeah, that's how I would do it.
Right. So equipment wise, you've been a new group. You ain't got a lot of money. So what kind of equipment would you actually take to use on an investigation?
Um, So you got like no money?
Well, it depends. Like some groups have got plenty of money; they can go out and buy a load of gear. Some groups ain't got a lot of gear. So let's
Yeah.
say, let's do it in two parts. One, the minimum amount of gear, and then second one, the amount of gear that you've been able to afford and you would take.
Yeah. So let's do. How's 100? Or is that too much?
Well, so I don't
I
know. I don't know what the equipment costs in the United States. So let's
Yeah.
say you all chip in. Let's say there's 4 people in your group here, and they all chip in $50. So you got $200 to start off with. What would you take as a basic ghost hunting investigation with $200, and then as a more kind of like wealthier group, let's say you got like $5,000. What would you buy $5,000?
Okay. Yeah. So for the cheaper one, I think a good starting thing would be definitely a voice recorder, maybe a K2 meter, and then I would download like Echo Vox or something like that, some type of spirit box thing. And I think that's a good start, just your basic, kit or whatever. What do you think?
No, I've got a lot of gear, but if I was starting out, I can tell you what I first started off with. I used my Nokia E5 as a recording device.
Oh yeah, you need a camera.
Camera, normal digital camera, K2 meter, um, and maybe some like UV lights, and that's it. That's what I would
Yeah,
start off with.
just
So
like definitely camera, recorder, K2,
yeah, right
or
now,
some kind of EMF detector.
right. So let's say, because you have actually done investigations. So let's say that you've already done like several investigations, right? Um, and this is your first residential, as you know, but you got a lot of gear because you've done like prisons and hospitals and other locations, but you've not really dealt with any kind of like residential on today. So out of all the equipment you got, what would you take to this investigation?
So I have would take like build a nerve center. So you have like your portable table, you have your portable chair, you got a monitor, you got a DVR system, and duct tape, and you hit up the hot spots, tape them to the walls, get good spots. Depending on how big the location, walkies would be nice, but they also mess up with your K2 readings
Yeah,
or your meter readings. Um, I would take a REM. I would take a K2 meters. If I got UV cameras, like handheld UV cameras, full spectrum, I would use those. And voice recorder, spirit box. I I think a good handheld camera is nice to have with a good microphone, because if you're not catching it from an EVP session on your little recorder, then you can always go back and catch it, with your camera's mic. Um, why do I feel like I'm missing something? SLS would be good. Um, I carry around a thermal. I don't always use the thermal, but you know, it's just another nice extra piece of equipment. For people who don't know what an SLS is, it's like a Connect sensor. It's a sensor for like an Xbox
yeah,
connected to a tablet that you're holding, and when you're holding it, it maps out
Was
people.
one of those
Yeah, that one right there.
ones because I've got two.
Yes.
I'm greedy, and I've used it on my PC as a Xbox Connect, and we've we've had some crazy stuff on my one. So
Yeah.
like, you can actually use one of those portable with a hand grip and a Windows tablet, which I do sometimes as well. Or you could actually take a laptop and connect it to a laptop and just have it stationary in one room and see if it catches anything in that one room.
Yeah, we had a figure pop up when we were at the hotel for we were in there for maybe a few minutes, like just got the room, and as soon as we plugged it up, we got.
Thank you, CWP2R, for that donation. That's super chat.
We we picked something like right away. It was pretty crazy. Let me see if I can
So you
find
set
it.
all your gear up, yeah? Where would you set up the more important gear in the house?
I would put the nerve center in the room where is getting the least amount of activity. And then you would drop a camera in the kitchen since you got the freezer thing, the kids' room, and what did you call it? It was like the living room, something like that. Was the other area that was getting a lot of activity?
Yeah, and the child's bedroom.
Yeah. So the kids' room, the kitchen, the living room, and why not just drop your extra one down the hallway, just for good measure. And actually, if you can have shadow detectors in this investigation, that would be pretty good.
Yeah. Would you, if they got a basement, would you put one in the basement, even though they're not getting any activity in the basement or the attic?
If I had an extra one, I would put one. No, I think if I had the choice between a basement and the hallway, I think I would do the hallway just because it's getting, it's the connection to all of the rooms. And if anything is passing, I could catch that. If I had 6 cameras, then yeah, I'll do the extra ones. But if I had to choose between, basement, hallway, I would do the hallway.
All right.
So we'd probably have I was gonna say we'd probably have the nerve center set up in the basement if nothing's going on down there.
So because the child has actually been more involved, would you request to interview the child with the parent there? To be there, for child safety's sake, or would you not interview the child and just take, the information from what the mother's told you? Because sometimes, a child could probably tell you a little bit more to an investigator than they would with a parent.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So, yeah, if the parent's okay with it, like I would like to talk to the kid by themselves and see what they see, or if they don't want to talk, get them to draw a picture or something like that. I think it
depends on the age of the child as well.
Yeah.
So right, you've got all your gear set up. Let's say you've asked me to be there, because I'm more of the main objective of the person who keeps getting scratched a lot. Yeah. Would you want me to be there from the beginning and see, if anyone else gets scratched, or if you're going to get that activity? And if you weren't getting activity, would you call me in like later to see if that activity would arise with me being there later on? Because there are some places where people don't get no activity, but as soon as they bring the house owner in, activity starts up.
Right. I don't think I would start off with you there. I definitely bring you in at some point, maybe towards the middle of
Yeah.
the investigation. But yeah, I wouldn't keep you there the whole time. But if stuff starts happening, then definitely, yeah, I'll bring you in.
Right. So, how would you go around trying to communicate with whatever spirit's there?
I think it's easiest to. It
And
depends.
would
I
you
mean,
do some kind of protection before you started the actual investigation?
me personally, I just wear my spiritual necklaces and stuff, and then I got a protection tattoo right here. So I think I'm good, but I'd advise whatever um, my investigators to believe in to ask that to protect them, um, and yeah, yeah. So I think it's just with your own beliefs, do your own protections because that's good. That's what's going to work.
All right. So you done your
It's
protection. All right. You done your protection. How are you going to start off the investigation? Where would you go first of all, and how would you try to communicate with the spirit that may be residing there?
so I would probably do one sweep quiet, not saying anything with just my meter. Make sure if I'm picking up any like electrical wiring or anything like that. Uh, but I would just walk around, do a sweep with the meter. If I don't get anything with the meter, then I'll go to the most active area, so the kids' room, and I'd probably like sit down on the bed, something like that. And if I had my REM, I would set that up in the kids' room since it seems to be the most active. And make sure it's like face the towards your DVR camera in case it's going off without you noticing it at the time or whatever. I mean, it's gonna beep either way, but the camera can pick it up too, so that's good. Um, but you start with questions like, is there anybody here with us? That's like the most important question because if nobody's there, then why do you have reason to ask other questions? um, but no, is anybody here with us? Do you mind us being here? Say it didn't answer your is anybody here with us? You say, do you mind if we're here? Say your meters still don't goes off or go off, and then would you like us to leave? And it starts spiking all the way to red, and so then something's there and something is kind of trying to hide. It doesn't want to be known. Um, So I've noticed with these, the more you stay there and the harder you push with your questions and the actual investigation, if you just don't let up when things go silent, and you have proof that you've seen stuff there already, stay there and be patient because there's something there and it's going to come out eventually. Um, if we're asking these questions for a long time and we're only getting small things, then I would bring in the homeowner and see if she has any questions to ask and see what, if she has anything to say to whatever is living in her house.
And what if you was getting more activity with her being there?
With her being there,
Yeah.
then we would, we would ask the same questions we did before and see if, or get her to ask the questions, since stuff's picking up for her. Um, and I would ask if she doesn't mind, sticking around for a little while because things are starting to pick up, and you need a certain amount of questions and a certain amount of answers to build your case. Because that's what it is. It's an investigation. You're building a case, and once you have enough, then you it's time to leave.
Right, yeah. This is going to be a bit weird one, this one, right? Right,
Okay.
the lady's there. She's with you, right? I'm the ghost. I'm now the ghost or the spirit. What questions are you going to ask me to get that activity?
You get to answer my questions. Okay. Why are you hurting this family? Like, is it okay if was that supposed to be a knock? Okay. that doesn't really
Well,
answer my
I'm
question, but
responding to you, aren't I? I'm responding
yeah.
to your questions.
Hmm.
I even
Well,
said
I
you didn't hear it, but I even said your name. Right, Travis. So although you may
was
not hear that, when you play that back on video, you might have heard me say Travis,
right.
but you didn't hear it at the time because I went Travis. Then you asked,
Yeah.
and then I went. So that's the thing
Um,
about investigating. Like you cannot always hear a disembodied voice, or
yeah.
even, like when you are trying to communicate with a spirit person. Even with a lot of groups I know, especially Living Dead Paranormal, the Forum Brothers, when they go in there, and they doing like Chasing Evil, which is a lot of case files of missing people, presumably dead, and they've gone missing for like 5, 6 years, and the police records can't say where the person is, but they believe that the person is possibly dead. So Living Dead Paranormal goes in and like does an investigation. Sometimes like they may have the mother or the father or the sister there to like ask questions, but when they're asking like when they're doing the ghost box, they will get a lot through the ghost box. Um, and when they're doing an EVP, or sometimes they just like walk around in location and they will hear voices like whispers, and that's what I've just done. I've done your whisper, but you didn't hear. So right, you've asked me a question. I've not twice. Right.
right. And I see this is where my training brain turned off because I would already assume we were, recording with an EVP or a voice recorder or spirit box or something like that. But first of all, turn one of those on and then start your question. Because that's not much help if you're not asking yes or no questions and all you got is a meter. Okay, so we're starting to get knocks. Was that you that just knocked? Can you knock again? Okay, cool. I wish I've had that happen. Um,
Well, you never know. It might start happening, mate. You just got to have your faith and believe in it's going to happen. So this time, you've asked me, all right, to knock again, and I just done.
mhm. So
That's 3 knocks.
yes, there's before I go over the 3 knocks. There's 2 types of hauntings. There's intelligent and residual. So residual doesn't really know what's going on. It's just residual energy. They're going to do their own thing. They're going to walk through walls because they think there's a door there. They're going to climb up the air because they think there's stairs there. Like stuff like that happens. Intelligent is what we're dealing with. If they respond to whatever you're doing or asking, then you have an intelligent spirit. The 3 knocks, or 3 in general, is supposedly mocking the Trinity, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Same thing with the scratches and stuff. This is a hard case because I'm not there. If we start like smelling whatever, are there any horseflies here, Steve? Any messing like
No,
in the bathroom or anything all over the window in the bathroom?
like that. You're watching and you see this happen, like on your monitor.
Mm-hmm.
Like a
Okay.
It's like a shadow. So you see that, right? And you're still trying to communicate with it. You've had your 3 knocks. You've heard like whispers, and you may not have heard the whisper. Yeah. So you're trying to communicate with it in more of a serious way. You think it might be a demonic spirit, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly let's say one of your teammates turn around and say, oh, I just felt like something scratched my neck. What are you going to do?
So what I tell all my investigators, if they feel irritation, something that might itch or feel really warm, to just pat it, just lightly pat it to stop the irritation until one of us gets to go over there and look at it. Because if they're over here scratching this scratch, then we're just not going to know. I mean, unless it's just 3 razor blade looking scratches across your back, then then you know. All right. So apparently,
if one of your team people has said, like, oh, my back's really burning, what are you going to do? That burning sensation is more liable to be scratches. So are you going to go and check? Right. And if there are scratches, what are you going to do to your teammate? Are you going to tell them to go outside and leave the area for a short while? Or
what we're going to do is we're going to sit down and talk about how to protect yourself again. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah. No, it's sometimes depending on if, say, we already got enough evidence, we've got knocks, we've got shadows, we are getting, people are being scratched, we might just end it there, or we will just have this person stand, outside for a little bit. And if another investigator comes up to me, he's like, hey, I really don't feel like we should be staying here, then I'd be like, okay. So, all of my investigators are feeling bad. Like, it's time for us to go. They can't, investigate in these conditions, they can't be accurate if they're, getting sick or getting scratched and, but I wouldn't I was gonna say I wouldn't aggravate whatever is there, like Zach Bagans. Did you just scratch me? I want to yell at it, but I would ask, was that you that scratched? My investigator. Yep, there we go. And that's when I would wrap it up and maybe suggest that she sleep somewhere else for the night in case we aggravated anything, if she has somewhere to sleep. But, we have to act quick after this. Once we wrap it up, we will take it all back, go over the evidence, pull whatever evidence we have, put in a folder and follow up with them and, review everything and suggest what we think it might be. In this case, it sounds demonic. So what I do is I ask them what their religion is, because I don't want to just bring whatever religion into their house. I want to ask them what their religion is, and based on that, I will find the higher ups, like, above us, like we can't cast whatever this is out of their house.
So I pretend to be again, you've asked me what religion, I'm just going to say Christian.
Okay, so we'll bring in a priest. If you're a Catholic, we would bring in a reverend or a father. And so Christian, we'll find a willing priest. We can show him the evidence if he asks for it. And
so you wouldn't do a cleansing yourself then, though? You'd actually get someone else to do it on your behalf.
I don't think that's an area we are supposed to mess with, because if area...
I mean, I've cleansings and it's worked. I've crossed people over in residentials and, I've just done like prayers and, the protection, and it seemed to work okay. I've never really asked a priest to come in because I don't know any priest that would do it. I'd
Yeah.
feel a bit too like, not so much way, but I probably feel like an idiot going into a church and say, "Oh, I'm a paranormal investigator. I've just done an investigation. We believe the house is haunted. We believe that there might be something demonic there. Would you come and do a house blessing and cross over whatever spirits are there?" That's a good way of doing it, but you might get the wrong priest or vicar or whatever, and might say,
Right.
"Well, you're messing with something you ain't supposed to be messing with," But you might get an
Yeah.
idea, "Yeah, I'll come and do it." But
Well,
I learnt mine from Jonathan Garthway. He came in, he done a crossing from one of the spirits which was here when I first moved in. Um, and he told me, you don't need a priest or anything in there. As long as you've got your faith and you believe in Christ, you can just print out a few prayers, like the Lord's Prayer, and that normally gets rid of spirits, helps them cross over. But with the demonic ones, then that's a different matter.
right.
Try crossing them over, but it's not going to work. And if you've realised that it's probably pissed them off a little bit more and it's made the actual activity worsen, then you need to bring someone more kind of like higher than yourself, like a priest or a vicar or someone from the clergy. Um, you know, we don't know if it's just a negative spirit. It could be something demonic. Now, for that, you
Right.
would need the demonologist, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Well, it's in this case, it sounds demonic. If it was just a regular spirit, we would talk to it and try to cross it over, like by ourselves. We wouldn't, call a priest in for that. But if kids are being pulled, people are being scratched, and there's these knocks, and I don't want to put my investigators at risk of taking something demonic home with them, or us messing up a blessing to where it's to where it makes things worse, because I'm not Christian, so I know, that wouldn't work for me. Like, that's why I ask whatever religion it is to, you know, I like to be respectful to the person. So I'm not Christian, so I'm not going to practice my beliefs in a Christian home, because I feel it's all about intent. And if I have a priest come in who is full of intent and knows what he's doing, then I feel like he would be able to cast this demon out of their house.
Right. So now you've gone back, you reviewed your evidence. What are you going to tell me?
So I'd sit you down, and this is where you have to stay
So
as
you'll go
calm
back,
as
you'll come
possible.
back to my house to talk to me, or would you ring me?
Um,
Because I think it would be more better to show some of the evidence to the person. Like,
right. Yeah. Either we would meet up somewhere, or I would just come to your house. But either way, we're going to be there with each other in person. And I'll sit down with the monitor, go over everything we found, and then tell them what we think it is. What I ask is, before we get into the investigation, actually, I would like to know what what the clients want from us. Like, what do they expect from us? Do they expect, you know, just to figure out that there's something in their house? Like, they just want to know what it is? Or do they want this thing gone? Or what do they want, with whatever is happening? Like, do they just want to be understood? So if she
yeah,
will,
we do different things. Sometimes if it's not so much evil and demonic and it's just more of a playful thing, they just say, well, that's okay then. Because if you're getting like names, which are names from the family, and it's just like your shadow or like your thing being moved around, then some people might be okay with that, but some people might not even want that. And even if they know it's family, they might not want the family to be there. They just want them to cross over to the other side to be at a better place. If it's demonic, then yeah, I want it out. I want it gone straight away.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, if she sees, all of our evidence and, there's proof that whatever this is demonic, then we'll explain that to her and see what steps she would like to, further take.
Cheers, Michael.
Or explain to her what we think is the best route to take. I want to show you something again. This is also from a residential investigation. The same one, actually. Hang on, sorry. All right. Whoa, why is it flashing? Okay. We good?
Yep.
All right.
The horrible piss. 11. Ugh. Oh, that's a Satan. Oh.
Yeah. Let's play that again. It is a little girl's voice that says "I am," and then you hear Satan.
I'm not hearing the sound though.
Oh, you said you can't hear it?
No, I can't hear the sound.
All right, give me a sec. Let me share that with you. Okay, share audio. Cool.
No, the video's not there.
Yeah, here it is.
All
right. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you tell us your name? Satan?
And I'll do that one more.
Can you tell us your name?
Yeah, I can hear the Satan bit. I can't hear the I am that much, but the Satan.
Yeah. That's really clear. Yeah. What we've decided as what we had to tell the owner is I had to sit down and tell her this isn't Satan. This isn't anything demonic that's talking to us through the spirit box. Whatever's talking to us through the spirit box is trying to scare us, and that's it. It's not trying to harm us. It hasn't hurt anybody in the house.
No.
If it was really a demon, it would disguise itself and try to trick us into thinking it was something else. And that closet was one of the most active areas in the whole house. So there can be tricky negative spirits that just want to scare you.
Yeah, and it's like calling the mischievous little buggers. Mischievous, like to play around and pretend to be something what they're not. Like I've had spirits come through and say, I'm the devil, and you think, yeah, like fuck are you? Would the devil really want to come and spend time with me? No, I think he's got better things to do. Right. So you sat down with the person, you've told her, and she's happy with the investigation. So I now say to you, well, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing the priest come around to do a house cleansing. How much do I owe you?
Nothing. It's a free service. We don't charge for our investigations.
Well, can I give you something for petrol? And
help towards the fine. Yeah, we accept donations. We, So
it's more of a donation type than actually charge. Because I know some people probably go out and fucking charge, an arm and a leg to do an investigation. So they're just greedy little motherfuckers, But when you're out there and doing it as a free, kind of thing, and you're not charging anyone, that can help your paranormal group to get around a bit more. Because, they could be talking to someone else who's got like haunting, And they said, well, I had a group van and they didn't charge me a penny. You know, even when I asked them, you know, for fuel costs, they said, no, it's all free, but I still wanted to give them something. So, you know, they gave me a PayPal and I donated like $100. And like, you know, and I didn't have to do that. I'd done it because I wanted to do it because they helped me out. My house is now clean. I feel like, you know, the house is a lot more kind of like, well, the energy, yeah, it's a lot more lighter than it was because like when before he turned up, you know, this is me pretending to be a woman still, you know, and I'm talking to someone else who's got the house haunted. I'll be saying, well, like, you know, the group done a very good job. Although they couldn't actually cleanse the house themselves, they got a priest in. The priest came in and done a special ritual to get rid of the spirits. And now the house is a lot more lighter. My child is not being attacked in a bed. I'm not being scratched anymore. So, you know, if it weren't for that group and coming to do the investigation, my house still could be like it now or could even be worse. So, like, you know, when they go around telling people, that gets more people who has haunting to try to contact, you know, like him and his group to doing more investigations.
Yep. That's how you get around.
So that's how you become a ghost hunter. And that's how you do your ghost hunting. That's how you put your equipment out, you know. Depends on how much money you can spend to buy equipment. Travis been doing it for quite a while now, so he's got some pretty good stuff. How many residentials have you done?
We've done 3.
3.
But, yeah.
I've actually done I've done more than 3. If you want to call Pete's house, you know, I've done his house about a dozen times. Because he, you know, Pete was always conjuring up stuff. And like when it got too bad for him, I had to keep going down to rescue him, you know, kind of thing. And I've done my own kind of cleansing. I just done like prayers and protect myself. Sometimes I use blessed water and holy salt, you know, just go around putting a sign of the cross. Holy salt along the doorways to stop them crossing over the boundaries. And that's the kind of thing I was doing. We've done that at the Georgian house as well. We did that at Kenny's house, the Black Girls, who lives over Mitcham, about 3 miles away from me. And when we done hers, you know, at the end, when we done like a prayer and crossing, you know, she turned around and said, wow, you know, the actual energy, the environment has completely changed. She felt a lot better in herself than she had been for like years. And she congratulated us, you know. And, you know, she even offered to pay, you know, towards the cost, which the only money we took off her was towards Simon's travel costs because it cost him like £100 to come down here and to go back home. So, you know, she paid half the cost, and that was it. So we didn't charge her for anything.
Here's where we got. This is our investigation page right here. Like when you go to request investigation. So just kind of give you an idea of like what we like to see to like get out of the way. So of course there's like name, last name, email, number. And then we have this thing here where you can choose how many children are involved. And then do you feel in danger? Which you prefer, and you know, just stuff like that. Describe your haunting and what do you expect from us? You know, just kind of just laying out the ground of what's about to happen. We also like write down what our steps are to our investigation. So we you know, we do that. That's what we do.
That's interesting. I ain't got nothing like that on my. I've still got my website up, but I've not put anything up there for a bloody long time. And I've never thought about anything like that, you know, because like, you know, people just go and like check out my website for the stuff I've put up there myself, you know, kind of thing. And that's it, really.
Yeah.
You know, I put like some of the investigations we've done up on there as well, but I ain't kept it updated for about a year or so. So I never thought about doing anything like that. So that's a good idea, that is.
If you could get any of your residentials to leave a review somewhere too, that's going to help you a whole lot. So you're asking me, have I slowed the video down to 0.5 or 0.25? Are you talking about are you talking about the Spirit Box video? Is that what you mean? So while he's answering that, you got anything else to say or ask?
No, so I've invited Dave to come on because he's a paranormal investigator, and he did say it's a very good topic we're having, and he has dealt with a few. I believe he's dealt with a few demonic cases because he does a lot of residential as well.
Right.
So he can come in and jump in. I sent Lindsay an invite if he wants to come in as well, so you two can say hello again. Because when's the last time you spoke to Lindsay?
Last time we were on here or on Hangouts
Years ago.
Yeah. This was like 2016, something like that.
Yeah. So the thing is, we can't do Hangouts like we used to on Google because I know people say it's still working, but for me it don't. So I had to sign up for StreamYard, and with the basic one, the free one, you only get 20 hours, and I knew I wanted to, do more than 20 hours because I'm always doing ghost boxes now. Streams, with the coot box and the crystal box.
Oh, I have also started a podcast too with ghost stories and stuff. So I've been busy.
Are you going to do any kind of live streams, inviting people on?
Yeah, that'd be cool if I have guests.
Yeah. Like people on here, you can probably add and subscribe to their channel, and once you get to know them, you can always send them a message and ask them if they can jump in. Like I can never remember his name. I think it's I can't remember his fucking name, but WPTR. He used to do like interviews on his channel.
Yeah.
And like
I remember when Dave was on with this. Is this the same Dave? The Dave Dimlow? Is that how you say his last name? Yeah.
Dimlow. I can't even fucking pronounce it. But he's coming on in a minute, he said.
Okay, cool.
He's probably sorting his kids out. He does this time every night.
Does anyone have any questions for us or for me or whatever? Anything paranormal, not just investigating? I'm studying to get a. I'm studying to get. Yeah, that's what I was looking at, but I didn't know if he was talking about the spirit box.
Spirit boxes to me are okay. They are a good way of communicating with spirits. But each spirit box has a different tone to it, I think, because if you put like a PSP 7 next to a PSP 11, you can tell there's a difference. Like if you put a PS7 next to a Sandium, there's completely difference. Even with audio recorders, you put two audio recorders next to each other, you ask a question, one audio recorder may pick up a reply while the other one won't, or they both pick up a reply, but both replies could be completely different words. Like you could say, "Well, what's your name?" Recorder 1 could be picking up the female saying Angela, while recorder 2 could be picking up male saying Gareth. So it's all down to the frequencies, I suppose, as well.
Yeah. So he just means in general, do I slow it down? Okay. Oh, wait. Yeah. Yeah, just in general. I had to recently slow down this EVP we got, and then we had to reverse it to reveal what it was saying, and that was the same, the most recent residential investigation. And I'll answer your other one here in a sec, but yeah, depending on, I guess, what and where. Like if other stuff is going on around us, then I would like slow it down and just kind of step back and look at what we're looking at. I got a pretty good ear for like EVPs and stuff like that. Like my girlfriend and I, we review footage together, and she's wondering what the heck, like how do I get such good EVPs?
Right.
Man.
Do you believe in that? Do you actually believe in the goat man? These are myths. I was gonna try to get Dave and Lindsay on one night and talk about myths, especially like the Yeti, One Snowman, Bigfoot, goat man, and all that kind of stuff. But before I was going to do that, I want to do a little bit of research on each one. So, do you think goats are real? Where did you go to do that? Did you get
in a way? This was actually before we left. We wanted to get like in the spooky mood, and I don't like. I think watching Ghost Adventures is fun to laugh at, so I went to watch one of their shows, and their newest one was the Goatman's Bridge, the one that we were going to. I thought that was pretty weird, and what they had happening to them was. I don't use Audacity. I use WavePad. But yeah, so the Goat Man himself, he was this guy who he was a goat herder. He sold goat milk and stuff like that and goats, and he slapped a sign on. He slapped a sign on the bridge saying "This way to Goatman's." And the local KKK wasn't a big fan of that. And they went and they slaughtered his family, burned his house. They hung him off of the bridge. And I believe if that legend is true, then I think he's just haunting the bridge as himself, not half goat. I don't think that makes any sense. Like, why do you think he's part goat now? He's a ghost.
That's what I don't understand. What I've seen and heard, like the goat man is half man, half goat. Body of the lower part of man, the head a goat. So it's as a spirit of a goat, and his spirit kind of like somehow joined and combined as one spirit, and that's what you're seeing: half man, half goat.
Yeah. Now, if there was like say some crazy
people,
what'd you say?
Could that be possible for a way for him to do that and to scare people? Because what I've heard and seen that the goat man is more of a solid form, which people see. It's not like a ghostly figure.
Yeah, I don't think if the goat man at this place was real, I don't think he has intent to scare anybody, and I don't think he can do that. Like try to turn himself into half goat. I think maybe if somebody was doing some crazy like I don't know ritual or something to where they sacrifice themselves while wearing like a actual goat head that they like gutted or whatever. I don't know, something crazy, and then they killed themselves and then they haunted the place. They would be walking around with that goat head on them for sure. But it's still just a person wearing something. I don't think, you can merge with a goat.
Yeah. It's like the, and you've probably heard it because it's more a myth over there, like the Mothman.
Yeah.
What about the Mothman? He can't be half moth, half man.
Well, I don't think he's a spirit. I think he's just a being, like just another type of being.
I think a lot of these are just like bullshit, to be honest with you. It's just like myths that, stories that people get to make up, and it gets around, and people start believing it, and then start adding it to it, and when they go out, they think they've seen it, and they say, "Oh, I seen the Mothman tonight." I saw the
I
Mothman.
mean,
I'm fucking standing there, and taking notice. I'll be like on my bike, fucking, running so goddamn fast. Hopefully, he doesn't come and catch me, the Mothman, even the Goat Man.
yeah. I mean, it's all fun, It's fun to believe in those kind of stuff, that kind of stuff.
I'd rather believe in the Yeti and Bottle Snowman than fucking Mothman and Goat Man.
Yeah.
The Chupacabra, I can never pronounce that fucking word. Chupacabra. That I could possibly believe because it's more of a mystical animal and not half man, half beast. Because in the wild, animals tend to do things like, humans do, have a nookie, but, you might get a fox thinking a wolf is, the same kind of species and, mate with each other. So I reckon with the Chupacabra, that's like two different species that's probably mated and made some kind of misformed inbreed of an animal. And instead of having one at birth, they've probably had several. And you're not, when people actually go around and say that they've seen it, they're not actually seeing the same one. They've probably seen one of several that's possibly out there. But
yeah,
I'm not saying it is saying that could be 100% definite, but that is the kind of thing I would more believe of a mystical creature that people have seen, and a lot of stories been going on about, because I think that's more in Mexico or somewhere in it, apparently far north of America, I think.
Yeah,
I can't remember, but
did you say
I'd rather believe that than actually Mothman and the Goat Man.
Did you just say Mexico and then say the far north of America?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Mexico's below America.
Well, there's been rumors.
You mean North America? I thought you meant like north of America.
North America.
Yeah. That's like that's Canada. Anyways,
I don't know where it's come from, but they say it's more North America, Northern America, or somewhere like it's a part of a foreign country. It's not actually America, but it's
right.
Further north of America or whatever. I don't.
Yeah.
Europe would probably know it is because Europe's more kind of like intelligent and that kind of stuff. But I would rather believe than the Chupacabra than as say the Goat Man and the Mothman.
Yeah.
They
say
it's like
they say South Texas there's like Chupacabra sightings and stuff. We were actually going to plan a trip to the Haunted Doll Island, but it's too dangerous there.
I'd like it, man. I tell you, I'd definitely taking one or two of them dolls back with me and put in with my doll collection. Who was it? I think it was Dave and Lindsay I was talking to the other night. We were saying, what location would you like to go to? And we was giving each other, the answer. And I said, I'd love to go to the Doll Island. I'd like to go and visit one of the most haunted castles. Actually, I'm going to ask you a question, right? What is the most haunted location in your state?
I actually in my state. Okay, yeah, Galveston for sure.
Now, if someone said to you that Galveston is the most haunted, but someone else said, "Oh, there's another place that is most haunted in Galveston,"
well, we're just gonna have to find out then, huh?
Yeah, because the thing is, I'm asking because there's so many people saying, "Well, if you think about it, that's the most haunted location in the UK." then suddenly someone else comes up and say, this is the most haunted location in the UK. Then someone else comes and say, oh, I've done this, and that's the most haunted location. You know, how many most haunted locations can you get in one fucking state or one country? You know, there can only be not 20.
Right.
Because
Well,
it's going to be one then, is it? It's not the one haunted location if there's 20 of them.
It's really hard to gauge because it's based off experience, and everybody's experience is completely different. And some might have, you know, maybe somebody gets pushed in one location and then somebody else goes to the same location. All they get is a whisper. And, you know, and then that location is most haunted for the first team, but not for the second team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no way to gauge. Like, I mean, Galveston Island, 12 to 16,000 people died in one night in the whole island. And, yeah, so that was.
How did they die? Was that like we were flooding or something?
A hurricane. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know, that's like, that was, yeah.
They have Walmarts that are haunted. They have a bunch of hotels that are haunted. Just everything's haunted there.
Isn't that place underwater now?
No, they rebuilt. That was in the early 1900s.
Good.
Well, hello,
David.
Hello. How is everyone?
Good. How have you been?
I'm not too bad, thanks, mate. I'm plodding on like you do, and I'm up to the usual stuff, Steve. You know the deal.
Yeah.
What would you like to
feel like
to the conversation?
Well, I mean, you know, I've been listening and everything. I think it's been a good session. Particularly like the way that you've been asking the questions, Steve. I think you've done a good job of that. Been informative for people watching, and that's always a good thing. Excuse me. Good answers. Liked it. I've enjoyed it. I think it's been great.
Okay. Is there anything you would ask Travis? Like, you know, let's say that you are a person with a haunted location, and you're not a paranormal investigator. How would you actually go to Travis and tell him about a haunting that you may have?
I think the first thing, obviously taking myself away from the fact that, you know, of what I do, my first port of call would be, I would imagine that I'd be in a position where I'm feeling a little bit confused, maybe scared, maybe the fact that people might not believe me and I might be ridiculed. So I think it would be my first port of call would be to find out, or at least ask him questions that would make me think of his approach towards what he would do for me, whether he could actually help, and what that would entail. So I suppose I would. The first thing would be to blurt out a load of information over the phone, saying all the things that I've experienced and that I'm feeling stressed out because of it, and can he help? I mean, that's the kind of thing that I get over the residential investigations I've done for nearly 30 years. Is people are genuinely scared, and they just want to know that they're not alone. So I would be scared. I would be wanting some kind of solace from him, or some kind of succor, if you like. You know, no, Steve. That's
What?
You know, I know what you were thinking.
No, I'm just like flicking through the channels at the moment. I was just checking Travis's channel. He ain't got much on it at the moment, but he's putting more stuff up.
Yeah, all right now.
You know, like the review on ghost hunting meters. I want to watch that one.
Yeah.
But how would you actually go looking for someone? And let's say someone said Travis, yeah. How would
Somebody told me about Travis, did you say? Sorry.
Yeah. Let's say I put you onto Travis because your house is haunted.
Yeah.
Right. So how are you going to contact him, and what you're going to tell him, and what do you hope that he can do for you?
Right. Well, I would like to think that there'd be some kind of presence on social media which is easy to do these days. So I think a telephone call I would prefer, just so that me being me, if I forget that I'm an investigator or whatever you want to call it, I would try to, just me with my personality, I would like to hear his voice and what he says and what kind of, whether he comes across as being reassuring and confident. Then I would hope that he would come and be able to help me, whether that's find evidence that suggests that there is phenomena being experienced at my house and that something can be done about it at whatever level that is offered by his team, and that there's going to be privacy if I want privacy, and that obviously the respect level is going to be there. I'd be respecting him because he's coming along to help, and likewise the respect of listening to me as a potential client and or witness. So I would phone him, Steve. I would phone him to speak to him, listen to him, and get a judge of the character, to be quite honest.
Yeah. And if you feel like you got the answers that you expected, you're getting to come and do an investigation for you.
Absolutely.
Now, some people are a little bit confused about funding. Some people, unless it's actually on their website, where it's like no charge whatsoever. It's a non-profit organisation. Would you actually ask them if there's any kind of like payment involved? And if he said no, would you still want to give them some kind of like donation at the end of the investigation if it went all well?
I think you asked some fantastic questions tonight, Steve. You're on fire, brother. I myself, I've never took any payment for investigations ever, and although once or twice I have turned around and said, "I'll have a cup of tea out of you if you're offering a cup of tea," but that's all I'm interested in. I don't want anything else. However, if I'm somebody who's reporting it to, obviously I've got to bear in mind that I'm not me, as it were. I'm reporting it to Travis, to Chips and that. Then I would ask if they charged. If they'd have already looked at the website, because I believe Travis said before that they don't charge. They're not even interested in petrol money, which I applaud, quite frankly. I think that's absolutely fantastic. And they didn't. Yeah, I would say, would you like some donation? Do you do any kind of merchandise that I can buy at least? Can I tell people about your group? Can I spread the word about you? Is there any way you can help? Do you want a cake? What about a biscuit? Something, because I would be genuinely, thankful that I'd been listened to for a start, Steve, that somebody listened to me and offered me help.
I think given that, like if you've been going through shit, like hell, and he's actually done an investigation, and if he wasn't able to do it himself, but got someone in to like do a house cleansing, and you feel a lot more kind of like happier, and that that whatever was there is now gone, and you said I'm going to like spread the word around, that is kind of payment in one way, isn't it? Because you're giving that to other people who may have the same kind of situation. That person might live in a street where there could be several houses that may be spiritually active. And
I think that's a very good point. Yeah.
Say, hey,
can you say something real quick?
Yeah, dive in.
Anybody who's just starting out as a paranormal investigator, I would say getting reviews from these clients is just as good as money.
Yeah. Well, reviews,
100%.
Word to mouth to other people, saying like, let's say that there could be a row of houses that may have spiritual activity. You get rid of one lot, that person go say, I use Chips. They got rid of mine. Give them a call.
Mm-hmm. You grab your proton packs.
Foster's Chips.
Get in there, get into that battlefield.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we're dealing with right now.
I can't remember what it was, but there was a story that there was a particular city that had a lot of spiritual activity, and they had to keep calling in the same group to like help with different residentials. I can't think what one it was. It was on the TV program.
The last residential we did, she told us towards the end, our neighbors are seeing a little boy appear at, their kids' room, and they just start seeing him, running around their house and stuff now, and like all this stuff is happening. And across the street, they're seeing this lady look through their window, and like, it's just like we're gonna be here a while. We should rent one of these houses.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll throw a spanner in the works with this one just to be a bit of a devil, because I've got a bit of that streak in me. It's one of those, and if you've seen it on TV, then it has to be true.
Have you ever done an investigation and these people were just so sure that something was there, and you just couldn't pull up any evidence, like it was, electricity or creaking in like just the house?
I think that's a fantastic question, and I was speaking to Lindsay and Steve last night about this. I asked them a similar question, where I've done too many times, Travis. I've known that when I've come across people by the preliminary investigation alone, just speaking to the client or the witness, that they have a belief in the paranormal. They watch every paranormal TV show there is going. They've got books all over the shelf. Now, that alone doesn't discriminate my opinion towards whether what they're saying is true or not. But you can sort of tell when somebody wishes that the property was haunted, because they like the idea of it and they like having a paranormal team in the house because it looks good on TV, it looks fashionable, it looks glamorous. And that doesn't stop us trying our butts off all night with all sorts of techniques, whether it's detecting humidity, ground vibrations, low frequency hum, large EMF fields, and localized temperature deviations, all of that, and finding nothing at all whatsoever, nothing at all that suggests there's anything going on. And to turn around and say, well, we haven't actually found anything, but it's difficult to turn around to somebody when they've got the heart set on it, especially if they're convinced and what they're being genuine. But when they're being deceptive about it almost, then that becomes a different kind of matter. But the answer to the question is many times. The truth of it is many, many times, more times than it's been genuine, if I'm honest.
Right. Yeah, I guess in that kind of case, if they're saying, our doors are opening and we're hearing knocking in the middle of the night and creaking and whatever, it's the same kind of thing. You just got to record, if I hit this wall, that door will open, or, at this certain time, something's going to kick on, and maybe you may not notice, but something's going to kick on. You're going to, get those sounds. And, the creaking is, if you're stepping in your bedroom or going to your bathroom in your room, you're going to get a creak in the hallway just because wood does that sometimes. And I guess it's the same thing. You just got to kind of record and sit down, and they'll be disappointed. For some people, other people would be relieved, but you just have that proof.
Well, that's it. Yeah, because fundamentally, the evidence should speak for itself. Sorry, and personal experience accounts for only a small part of it, because ostensibly it's about evidence gathering, to present evidence to try and make some kind of form a synopsis about what's going on for an end result. If there's a preconceived notion about what that end result is, either by the client or the team going in, then the investigation's invalid, isn't it? It's already tainted. So the investigation should yield some kind of result or evidence that will be able to formulate some kind of plan with dealing with it. And if it doesn't, then
then what are you there for?
Yeah, that's it. You're right, though. That's exactly it, isn't it? But you still got to go. You've still been called, and I still think situations like that are still good, because it allows for training in the debunking part of investigative techniques for team members. They learn how to debunk things. The science side of it comes in so much as they need to start to use analytical thinking rather than a belief system to approach the investigation. So that in itself is worth doing as well. I think a happy balance of both is needed within an investigation, but trying to remain impartial as possible.
I'll probably find it a little bit difficult to actually go around and do an investigation and not get nothing there at all. Then go to the owner and say, well, I'm sorry, I didn't get nothing. Your house isn't haunted. I would feel a bit kind of like sorry for the person in one way, I suppose.
Yeah.
I would just tell them straight. Quite frankly, I wouldn't care. It's not about me massaging their ego or their expectations. It's about doing a job, and that's what's over the years in various teams, and that has led to being able to do so many residentials. The upshot of that is, you culminate knowledge, but every situation's different. So, that's why I hear people when they say the sheer amount of investigations they've done, and it doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean squat. It doesn't matter if somebody's only done a handful and somebody's done 600, because every single one's different. Every single one's unique, and you're always constantly learning. And that's the good thing about Travis. Now he's getting out of his team and he's doing investigations and trying to help people. So constantly learning and constantly garnering knowledge, which is the biggest part of it.
I got another question for you. If you have a new person on your team, would you bring them in to a residence, or how long would it be until you allow them to go into a resident's home to do an investigation? Would you do like a pre-investigation at another place, or what? How would you handle that?
I would not take them to a residential investigation first. No, I just wouldn't, due to the sensitivity of the very situation. I just wouldn't. We would have, well, we do or have had locations in the past which we consider, for want of better terminology, training grounds, places that are historically known to have activity, and take new investigators to that location, go through some investigative techniques with them, see how they use the equipment, see how they react to certain stimulus and things like that. More importantly, how they handle evidence analysis, whether it's using spectral analysis on audio recordings, bringing up digital stills images, using embossed techniques, negative inversion techniques to bring out images, and also video analysis. And if once they've got a little bit of like experience in doing that, then I would take them in. I've been to a couple of residential investigations, well, a numerous amount really, where we haven't done this in the past, and before we started to use this, and something's happened within the house, and they've responded to it, they've reacted to it like a bang or something like that, and they've go, wow, whoa, fuck it, did you hear that? Now that carries like a disease then through anybody else who isn't experienced, and the client. If the client's there, the client's like, I knew it was right to be scared, because he's a paranormal investigator or she's a paranormal investigator, and even they're scared. So it's okay to be scared. When ideally going in a location, it's the confidence that comes from the investigator that should be rubbing off on the client. They should be able to take some kind of solace and reassurance in the fact that you're there, you're confident, and you know your stuff. So I wouldn't take a brand new investigator into a residential, no.
I don't think I would actually, not until I feel that they're ready. 'Cause I'll probably do like a lot more outside stuff with them, and maybe like derelict locations that's supposed to be haunted, like old castles, monasteries, churches. Maybe an old house that no one lives in and apparently supposed to be haunted. Then I may take them in that one. But when you've got people living there, I'll be doing that until I know that they've got enough experience behind them, and I can trust them not to be fucking stupid and get scared so easily. Because if you think that when you bring people into your group, and you think, give them a chance, and you take them out somewhere, and the first little knock they hear, they start screaming, running down the hallway, saying, "Oh, I want to go home! I want to go home!" No, you ain't gonna have that, are you?
I will say this though. Sorry, Travis. I will say this as a get out for anybody who's watching. Unless it's your girlfriend or wife, then you have to take them, or you're in trouble.
I wouldn't fucking say. No, sorry, no. Right,
No, it's okay. Relax, Steve. I was joking.
No, but as a joke, I'll say, no, sorry, you're staying at home. I know you running, screaming around, scaring the ghost off.
Scaring the ghost. Yeah, we went to that hotel recently, and we were in this downstairs area, and we weren't really getting much. It was I had 3 other investigators with me, and the newest investigator um turns to me and says, "Yeah," or I asked them something or something like that. I said, they just go, "Yeah, the meter's been going off." You're like, "What?" You're like, "Yeah, the meter's been going off. It's been like bleeping and whatever." This is like, and you didn't let us know. You didn't let
Yeah.
anybody know. The meter's going off.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's another reason for it, isn't it? It's like they're not aware of when to let you know. I mean, simple things like when conducting an audio recording or try to get EVP, an EVP session, for want of better terminology, I suppose, is to when they hear, I think they hear something, to say mark, to make it easier to find that point on analysis later on, because you could be doing hours and hours and hours of, I mean, if you've got digital CCTV system, as well as God knows how many handheld infrared cameras, you've got full spectrum cameras, and you're doing an investigation where it's 6 or 7 hours recording, maybe 8 or 9 hours recording, times 5 or 6 or even sometimes 10, you've got 90 hours worth of video footage just to go through alone, let alone all the audio footage and then the digital stills images you take. So as much anything that makes it easy you need. So little things like that, even saying mark, to mark certain points where they think they've heard something, let alone things flashing off in the background, alerts going off, gun turrets coming up out of the floor, German sentries walking past, all the alarms going off, and they don't let you know any of it's happening. It can be a bit of a peeve, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Can I show you all a video? And I wanted to see what y'all think about it.
Go for it.
Okay, so this is in the same. This is in the same. Not the same. What am I talking about? Hang on. This is in the hotel we were just in. So supposedly there are little kids in this area, and this is the history hall of the Galvez. Oh, if this video would play. It doesn't look like it wants to play. Well, isn't that strange? All right, hang on. Give me a second while I figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now it wants to load.
Okay.
This place was pretty. Last time we were there, it was pretty popular for. I'm not saying this is it, but it was pretty popular for having evidence not show up whenever you go looking for it. Like you have video footage that is downloaded on your phone. It's on your phone. And you don't need internet to access it or anything. And it would just stop and load and load and load, and it just wouldn't play. And yeah, a lot of that was happening there. Let me see. Might take me a second, so if y'all want to talk or whatever.
No problem. You distracted there, Steve. Are you busy?
No, I was just looking at a radio on eBay. I found my bench radio.
Is that right?
Act.
Oh, there we go. Fantastic.
But I still can't find the other Roberts one. But one of the screws has come off inside, so I've got to take it apart, fix that, put another switch on that side. That one's on there already, but that's a bit loose, so I've got to tighten that up. Then I can start using this one. It's got a phono jack out anyway, so I can connect that to the Echo pedal at some stage. It's working. I just done a quick test on it. I didn't have the volume up, but I just hit the scan button just by touching the two wires, and it started scanning.
Okay. All right.
For some reason this one ain't working, so I've got to take it apart tomorrow.
All right, here we go. Okay, so that's me and my brother, downstairs history hall of the Galvez. Watch how lightly I kick this ball here. And then it keeps going, and then it turns here, and then it turns again, and it keeps going. And then it's gone for a little while. I'm asking for it to come back. There it is. I just thought it was moving weird, so I zoom in on it.
And there's no one else in that hallway. I'm just thinking it could be unlevel flooring, maybe. Did you try to examine the floor to see if it was unlevel or not? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I'm listening to you, Steve. Yeah.
I thought no one can hear me then. I thought, hang on, what's going on here?
His video's paused. I don't know if that is what's going on there.
I think you might have lost connection.
Yeah. Has he lost connection? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I'll send him the link again.
Yeah, it froze at this end too, right?
Yeah, we done this because we did a couple of years ago. We did like had a big ghost hunter kind of like video thing. We done like part 1 and part 2. Then he packed up and left, went to live with his girlfriend, and we never got to do part 3.
I remember that. I remember them being done. Yeah.
Hello?
Hey,
You're on the wrong number. You're on the wrong thing. Get back on the stream.
look, my computer doesn't have internet now, but my phone does.
Reset it. Reboot.
I did, and it's not. I went into my settings and it says that I'm connected to the same internet that this phone is using for this call, and it's not. It's not connecting.
Keep trying, yeah. We'll be here.
Yeah. All right.
All right, yeah, keep trying because I can't stream and be on here because otherwise it knocks me out. All right. Yeah, his mobile's connecting, but his laptop's disconnected for some reason.
Yeah, there you go. That's just what you need, doesn't it? It sounds like the internet's gone down, but he's got his data allowance on his phone connected to the internet instead.
Could be. I think he's both connected to the same internet. So if it's both connected to the same internet, why is he getting kicked out? Because if it's sharing the same data, he can't run out of data.
Yeah, so I don't know. There could be all sorts of reasons why it can quip out, go weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I was mucking around with some of my gadgets today. I've actually got a working one now.
Nice.
So I've got another one of those working. That SAF box I had, I took it apart and I started building a few more. They're not in the boxes yet, but all I done was open the case, and now I close the case, it just constantly goes off. And I'm thinking, what the fuck is going on here? So there's a problem with that one now. But I've got the boxes to build another 2, which I'm going to be building. Yeah, I've just been mucking around with the old soldering iron today. I've got me glue sticks through today and my soldering iron tips. So really, all I'm going to be doing over the next few days is just mucking around, trying to put a few more bits and pieces. Oh, he's back. Welcome back.
Hello, Aaron.
There we go.
I didn't. I knew I was calling him from Facebook. I wasn't. I didn't think I was connected to that.
Myself answering your call, I thought if I answer that, I might get kicked off back in the stream.
Oh, well, sorry. So yeah, no, I wasn't connected with data. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, well, life.
Oh yes.
I still don't know why you ain't got your fucking ghost boxes yet.
No idea at all, mate. No idea. It was a couple of days ago. Like I say, they've not been doing deliveries over the weekend because of the pandemic and that. So maybe Monday could turn up Monday.
Friday yesterday, wasn't Saturday. They stopped doing it Saturday, not Friday. But
yeah, I know that. I'm aware of that. That's my point. What I'm saying is that's why I think it'll turn up on Monday now.
Yeah, because they have actually said that, even first class recorder can take several days for it to deliver.
It'll come, I'm sure.
Yeah, because the old post office has had a few problems with the old. They got to be a bit more careful delivering packages and parcels. I know that sometimes the postman just like if he's got a parcel and knock on the door and just leave it there, and that's it. It doesn't matter if you're in or not. You just leave it there. Right. So anyway, we was talking about the goat man. What do you reckon on this goat man bollocks? Because I don't believe he exists. It's just a myth.
If that's directed to me, then you've already answered my question on my behalf when you said bollocks.
All right, then about the Mothman.
How about what? Sorry,
Mothman.
The same as Peter Pan.
All right. Now about the Chupacabra.
That I'm not so sure about because you're dealing with cryptozoology. So that's a totally different thing. Chances of something that's even remotely closely related to another animal genus are more likely to put some story in rather than myth or legend.
I think it's
go on. Sorry.
I think it's all just like myths where people make stories up and it just gets random. It plays on people's imaginations when they go out and they think they see it or hear it, and it's just your brain playing tricks on you. Because there's been no evidence on them, really, is there? The only ones that have been like more, I believe, is more believable is the Sasquatch, the Yeti, abominable snowman, that kind of stuff. Like I said the other night.
Yeah.
So now that I'm here, I actually have to leave. But hey, shut up. I just wanted to say a proper goodbye, and it was good to see you again, Steve and David. I don't even. Do you remember me, Dave?
Oh, I remember you very well, Travis. Yes, I do.
Okay, well, you're gonna see me a lot more then, because I'll be hanging out a bit more.
Yeah, you can come on there a bit more. We can have different discussions on the paranormal.
Yeah. I think it's funny how I'm Wiccan now and Simon is Christian. That's pretty funny.
You know what happened to Simon?
What?
Simon James. He gave up the paranormal because he met a young lady and they had a baby, and he said, "That's it. Now we got a child. I do not want any kind of spirit person or being coming around and being around a child." So I thought, well, yeah, I understand that. So we stopped doing it.
Yeah. Well, I'll see y'all later.
Yeah, cheers for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And want to do another one, just let me know.
Yeah, fine. Yeah. Well, if you see me on, you're around. Just come on.
Yeah.
Take it easy,
okay.
Travis. Be good.
Hey, you too. See
I'm
y'all later.
already inviting Dave and Lindsay on. So,
Bye-bye,
yeah.
mate.
Bye.
Bye.
So I was going to say while he was there, but he's had to go. What's your opinion on shadow people? Because there are several types, aren't there? You got the shadow man, you got the hat man, you got the shadow creature, you got the thing that comes out from under the bed. Are they all the same?
Yeah.
Do you think, or do you think they're different types of shadow people?
I think if there's any evidence to suggest that shadow people are actually a thing, then I think it's pretty much all much of a muchness. I think it's I think it's the same phenomena that people are experiencing.
So, if you saw a shadow, what would you put it as, though? A spirit or some form of different a different form of entity from a different parallel universe or different portal?
I think if I could explain it away due to prosaic means as being reflection of light causing shadows within the building or the location because of light, then I put it down to that. Obviously, my first port of call is always going to be to explain it away, not just immediately assume it's something paranormal, because that's the correct thing to do. I can't prove that anything paranormal has happened anywhere in the world ever, and nobody else can. They can put it forward as being a possibility, but not an absolute, because then this would be a science. But because I understand what you're asking and where you're going with it, that's a difficult one. I think a lot of it, if it is an actual occurrence that we're witnessing, that it's transdimensional, as opposed to real-time spiritual. But then I don't think the two are definitely different things either, if that makes any sense.
So I thought the shadow man and the hat man was two different kind of like entities, to be honest with you, because I won't say her name, but one particular person who's in the paranormal has always said that she's seen the hat man constantly, and then she says that she's seen the shadow man. So when she's saying that she's seen the hat man and the shadow man, to me that's two different forms of entity, isn't it? To me, I don't know if it's for you, but
yeah, totally understand what you're saying. It's two different descriptions of what people are seeing. Yeah, if you look at all the different cultures around the world, they all have different things as being paranormal, different ways of explaining them, and different mythical beings that all pretty much stem from the same kind of background. And a lot of the ones that seem to be circulating now, you don't hear of them even mentioned pre-1990-ish. They were never mentioned. It's historically a great. No, I'm not saying all, obviously, and people know which ones I'm referring to, or I'd like to think. But there's a lot of fashion in certain beings and spirits and mythical entities and in restless souls that aren't based in Christian demonology or any other type of religious demonology or folklore. That have come about from the media and the movies, and that's just a statement of fact. They didn't exist before 20 years ago, a lot of it.
So,
sorry, go on.
Yeah, go on, Carl.
What I was going to say is, other experiences, other things that I described have been being reported for thousands of years. The same kind of things get reported for thousands of years, like apparitions, full body apparitions, the figures of black figures being seen out the corner of people's eyes, or seeing somebody stood in front of them who looks like a real everyday person who then vanishes. Certain things have been reported throughout for thousands of years, and they still get reported now. There's other bits that have come into paranormal folklore that have been reported by people, that have been propagated by movie, book franchises, TV shows, and fashion, and people being into the paranormal.
Why do you think that a lot of people see that, a dark entity or dark spirit that goes around, banging and scratching and things like that? Why do you think they represent it as like a demon when it isn't a demon? Or they can't prove it is a demon?
That's a good question again. That, Steve, you are on fire. I'd say
Because I could go in and go into a location. I have been in locations where I've been like scratched, and I felt like very uncomfortable when I might have seen a shadow. But and someone might turn around and say, "Oh, that's a demon." Why is it a demon? Because you've seen a shadow and you've been scratched. It could just be a pissed off spirit. Don't want you there.
yeah. Well, I mean, I think people associate it with that because it's against the norm of what's considered correct behavior within a social structure. If it's antisocial behavior by a physical being, by a human, it's classed as antisocial, and they're classed as a bad person. I think the same thing would apply. It's I mean, how many times have you heard tales, or rather reports of investigations where an investigator has been touched or pulled or tugged or scratched, when in actual fact, far be it from it being an evil spirit, allegedly, it's a young spirit or a child that doesn't know how to communicate properly, so has to use that as a form of getting your attention rather than doing it maliciously. So I think that's down to interpretation.
Right. But how let's try to think how to say this right.
So I just want to answer something that I've just seen in the chat, which is, yeah, you can't prove it or disprove it. However, the burden of proof lies with the investigator, doesn't it? As does the burden of guilt in a court case. And then disproving it is, you can disprove it if you can't prove it, actually. If you don't have evidence that what's going on is truly paranormal, if you don't have evidence that it's not a ghost, you can't prove it's a ghost, then by default, you've disproved it.
Yeah.
Because you are dealing in absolutes. You go to any establishment, any mainstream science, and it's okay to say, well, obviously science doesn't pay attention to it because it's the paranormal. That's just a get out. The reason science doesn't pay as much attention to it as we're led to believe is because there's nothing in it for them to gain. They have to deal with absolutes. They have to have controlled study groups in situations which they can then reproduce under certain conditions for it to be scientific fact, which is, again, just proving out theory.
Well, you've done demonology, haven't you? Yeah.
There's people that have done a lot more than me, but I have.
Yeah, but what I'm going to say is that, when people have haunted houses, it's quite, it is possibly on a regular basis that you're going to have a spirit in your house, right? What is the, I'm trying to think of the fucking right way of saying it, yeah? What is the chance of someone getting a demon in the house?
Throughout the time that I've been involved in the paranormal, I've waxed and waned through various thought processes about beliefs, about what I think's right and what I think's wrong, what exists and what doesn't exist. And there's so many questions that I have to ask about it that never get answered. And then the more I look into it, the more questions I have rather than answers. I find far more questions than I do answers. And I think there's a lot of bad in the world. There's a lot of evil in the world. There's a lot of negativity in the world. And I'm sure people listening have been in a situation where they've walked into a room where moments before people could have been arguing, but they weren't there to witness it. But they've gone in the room afterwards and you can cut the atmosphere with a knife. You can tell something is wrong.
Yeah.
Because that negative energy is imprinted upon the atmosphere within that room. And I think globally and as a community and as a species, we exude so much negative energy with wars and starvation and the way that we treat one another. that if demons exist in the way that we think they do as paranormal investigators, or the way that we're led to believe they do regarding the paranormal community as a whole, not everybody, because I'm not going to make a sweeping statement like that, but for the most part, if we believe that demons are real, then the world that we live in is a breeding ground for them, Steve. It's the perfect environment for them to be all over the place. So how easy is it? I think if you go into a location which already has activity, then you should document that activity. If you go into that location and you try to make the activity worse, you try to call something out, which many of us do, and most of us do by using the techniques that we do, then you are always in danger of changing the atmosphere that's there from something good to something that's bad.
Yeah, but those bad ones could just be like a pissed off spirit, kind of thing. I don't think it's that easy to, summon or even communicate with a demon, or even the demon wants to come up and, be an arse and give someone a lot of hell, kind of thing. I think a demon only picks on certain individuals, and that's like a rarity, I suppose. It's not happening, day in and day out, is it really? You're not hearing too many stories about someone who reckons that they've got a demon in their house, and they've had to have someone from a church, a pastor or vicar or someone to come in and do a blessing to try and get rid of the demon.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying completely. I try not to do belief systems because it influences what you do. And bad and pissed off spirits is that remains to be seen if the evidence points towards that. So are all of them demons? No, it depends upon your definition of demon, and that's when you get into an entirely different world. What I don't think, or didn't say anything was a demon. I said bad energy, bad emotions, bad feelings, hatred, hurt. I think psychology has a massive part to play with it. I think the human mind is far more powerful than any of us can even imagine it is at the moment. We haven't even started to brush the surface of what the human brain is capable of doing and how powerful it is. And I think I'm not trying to say that people imagine everything, because that's just not true at all. But what I'm saying is the human brain, we ourselves can be a conduit for such power, so much energy, that many things are possible that we might not even know about yet or be aware of. And we're not in a state to learn. I think evolutionary at the moment, we're in a stalemate because of the way we are socially as a species. And when we progress from that, I think a lot of answers regarding the paranormal, spirituality, shadow figures, demons will become more clear to us. And then people like me, you, and people in the chat won't be seen as fringe pseudo-scientists. We won't be seen as occult people. We won't be seen as devil worshippers or evil people because we don't believe in God or whatever. We'll be seen as being normal, and if anything, pathfinders for a new science. Maybe not in my lifetime, but
here's another one for you here about poltergeist. What do you think causes poltergeist activity? Now, there are writings and people that have written in books and stuff stated that we ourselves can actually create poltergeist activity through the stress, anxiety, depression. And, we're building up our own kind of brick wall, and we're not releasing that energy. And when it's trapped inside ourselves, we can actually create poltergeist activity, yeah? But there's that way of poltergeist activity, but then there's also poltergeist activity from a spirit that may resemble in a location, and it's been there for a while and has been able to either save up its energy or collect energy from the people who are living there now to cause poltergeist activity. So
Yeah.
I think there's two types of poltergeist activity. That one we can conjure up ourselves, and one that is actually, true spiritual. Or do you think it's all, where we creating it ourselves, and that's it?
That's another very good question. I think we're in most cases, right. I think we're responsible for the activity that we see that we class as being poltergeist. I think due to telekinesis, even if we're unaware of it, as I said before, the human mind is fantastic and more powerful. I think a lot of what goes on in the world and the universe is far bigger than we know. Everything is there's a lot more to it than we think, and it's because of that it makes it more simple if we're willing to see that. But as spirits are the definition of spirits cause things to move about and doors to bang and cutlery to be thrown across the room and all that kind of thing. I believe spirits are energy. I believe that they're energy that vibrate at different frequencies that can come from other planes and manifest due to certain circumstances. And because everything in the universe is made up of energy, yes, I believe energy can move energy and have impact upon energy. So yes, I believe people cause it in ourselves, and I also think what people label as spirits also cause it.
So you're saying that there's two types of poltergeist activity then?
I'm saying that there may be many more types of poltergeist activity, but in answer to your question, is there two types? I would say yes, at least two, maybe more.
Because I remember when I was at Pete's first time I went down there, stayed in his living room, and that tin can flew at me. Called Pete, told him, and then half an hour later, more stuff went flying down. So, there was, I could feel a lot of energy in there. So whether it being, the spirit being pissed off that I was there and wanting me out, I was able to manifest enough power to throw things at me. Or I've always wondered, well, maybe it could have been my own mind thinking that, I'm there on my own. And, something came flying off that shelf at that time is going to scare me. So, there's possibility where I was actually thinking it, I could have created it myself.
Yeah.
By making it come flying off the shelf. Because even when Pete said, you'll be okay, I knew that it wasn't okay and that, something else was going to happen.
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying I did create the energy, but do you think there's a possibility I could have created it myself, or a spirit knew that I was thinking about it and then got the energy to do it themselves a second time? I don't know, because I always thought, well, if we can create enough energy to create poltergeist activity, then there's a possibility that I created it, but then there's a possibility it could have been a spirit that could have done it. So there is a lot of things that I still don't understand and I'm still trying to learn.
Yeah, I mean that's it. You, for the most part, I think it can be spread into different chunks, belief, faith. But it's based on two things, really, isn't it? You either believe that it's the world and the universe and everything contained within has been created by an omnipotent being, or the Big Bang Theory, what science tells us has happened. And there's a massive explosion, and the universe started expanding. Well, going off that, then when the ingredients are right, then things can happen. And all you need is the right ingredients for any given situation for something to happen. Our planet being X miles from the sun, and with the trace element of carbon in the universe, and gives us the right conditions for life to be on this planet. So we have the right ingredients in the right circumstance, and life is on this planet according to science. If you believe in you know, you believe in theology as being the reason for why there's life, then God decided the time was right, or whichever deity, and the ingredients were right for life to come about. So I think even if somebody hasn't necessarily got powers that they're aware that they can harness, that if they're in the right environment and the ingredients are right, then things can happen. So is it possible that you could have been responsible for that? Well, in that instance, if the ingredients were right at that time, then the answer is yes.
It's only happened that twice in that one night, but you know, every time I did go down there, you know, things were going a bit crazy. Like chairs would move, you know, the bird cage would get banged. But you know, sometimes I had my doubts about some of that stuff. You know, to be honest with you, but I had to be careful on what I wanted to say and believe that was going on down there. Because I can't understand, like, you know, and I'm not being nasty to the guy, but I can't understand if he didn't want that stuff there, why keep, you know, creating what he was creating? Because, like, you know, he was always like provoking the spirits for one thing, yeah, which I don't like to do myself. But, you know, I might say, oh, come on, fuck's sake, come and do something, you know, kind of thing. But the way he provoked him was like completely, you know, to me, wasn't in my book. You know, I wouldn't have done it, but he did. And every time something crazy went on, he'd be on to me saying, hey, Steve, I need you down here. You know, I can't deal with this. And as soon as I helped him get rid of it, again, it creates something else up again, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, it was a bit of a joke keep going down there, but it got me out of the house and it got me to, like, you know, investigate in there and, like, learn a bit more about the activity. You know, we did catch a few things on audio and on video. We even done some stuff on Skype as well when I went down there, and we caught some good stuff on there. But there was one occasion where I thought, nah, I don't believe that happened. You know, I can't call it like fakery, but I just couldn't like get my head around it because, you know, even though it was moving, you know, there was a shadow in the hallway, and that could have just been, you know, someone mucking around in the hallway, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you know, if you got to hear this, you know, you say, "Oh, you cunt, Steve," you know, I ain't going to invite you down anymore. Well, that's up to him. But you know, I just don't think that would have happened. I won't explain what it is live on the channel, but I will tell you another night which I thought was going on. Because I don't want to be starting, you know, shit between him and, you know, causing drama and hate and anything like that. Because, you know, I like the guy. I've not seen him for, you know, 3 or 4 years now anyway. Where he used to live, I think he's moved. So, you know, and he's moved further away, so it would be a lot more difficult for me to go down there and do any kind of investigation. But, you know, I did have a good time down here most of the times. I enjoyed being down there, you know, learning different like techniques and communicating with, which I thought at the time was negative spirits. Because you know, you ain't going to get a good spirit unless it's a playful spirit. Keeps like banging the bird cage and like flashing the lights on and off, and you know, turning the TV on with the remote control, which was, you know, clear view in sight right near the TV. You know, curtains flying open. So, you know, I do believe there's a lot of activity there, but I put it down to him doing things that he shouldn't have been doing, like, you know, for one, portals, which he didn't know how to close, is number 2, and you know, just, you know, getting me down there to fucking sort it out for him all the time, because you know, he has said sometimes to me, like, you know, oh, fucking hell, Steve, I think I've opened something in here, you know, and it's really giving the shit right now. I need you down here. And I thought, well, you didn't fucking do it in the first place. I wouldn't need to go down there. But I'm thinking, well, hang on. At least it's given me a little bit more experience.
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing. And, like, he's got to learn not to keep doing that. So I can't keep going down there and, you know, paying X amount for travel costs. Because all I got out of it was, like, you know, maybe a dinner, or like if we went down somewhere to like Puckley Village or to a different location if you weren't doing his house, but we intended to do his house more than anything else. And I was hoping to go out and do a lot more kind of like outside stuff or, like other residentials. But it's always seemed to be his house all the time because he always kept fucking provoking and bringing things in which he shouldn't be doing, So, and then when I went down to say, we were Skyping and there was things going crazy on there. I don't know. I think when you got people doing that, I think that's wrong. You shouldn't be like keep opening portals and doorways and bringing spirits in and pissing them off and letting them get so angry that you are going to get negativity and like it could cause problems in your own home. If you don't want it, then you don't fucking do it.
Yeah, I think a big chunk of it is people manipulating consciousness, time, and experience. And everybody is a consequence of my experience, as I am a consequence of yours. You speaking to me now is an experience you have in your life, as you speaking to me is an experience in mine. And that's all the paranormal is based upon, is for the most part experiences, life experiences. Even factual evidence that we think we garner is experience. And does it change anything? I think in the grand scheme of things, not, because I think it's bigger. It's bigger than we at the minute can figure out. And I think people who think they've got it figured out need to go and figure, because they haven't. It's a lot bigger than that. Pardon?
I can see what you mean. Like, people who haven't figured that need to go and figure it out.
Yeah, it's certainly it's a big. We live in a big cosmos, a big universe, and I think holding to some kind of belief helps people make sense of it all, rather than it making sense. And I think the paranormal's like that. I think it's that big that it's actually more simple than we give it credit for, and we don't see it because of that. I think we can manipulate our environment even though we don't know we're doing it. Our energies and the energy of the environment, I'm absolutely convinced of that.
Right, have you got anything else you want to talk about? Because otherwise I might call it another night.
No, I think that's good. We've covered a lot. It was mainly about Travis anyway, wasn't it? It was for him and you.
Well, yeah, and anyone else want to come on? I did invite Lindsay, but he declined tonight. So
he's not well, mate. He's not been feeling well.
Yeah. Because the only reason we've done it tonight, because we did plan it for tomorrow, but he forgot it was for tomorrow. And he goes, "Oh, I thought it was tonight." I said, "No, it's tomorrow." He goes, "Oh." I said, "Look, if you want to do it tonight, we can do it tonight, because then tomorrow I can have like a little bit more of a break then, because tomorrow I want to do, try to do some more, electronic builds and repair some of my gear. Try to get that ghost box working again, so I need to do the switches back on them again, to get it working, and I'll test it out. So tomorrow I might do a little stream testing out the bench one for the amps, but I don't know yet.
Yeah, it's certainly worth a go. I suppose it'd be good for you to have a break, because you're plugging away every day, aren't you? Every night you're putting your time in. I think you deserve a break for 24 hours.
Yeah. So I wasn't even going to come on tonight, to be honest with you. It's only because Travis thought, it was tonight and not tomorrow. I thought, well, do you want to do it tonight? He goes, yeah. I said, oh, all right then, we'll do it tonight then. So I might leave it tomorrow and not come on tonight. I don't know yet. Depends how I feel. Depends how much sleep I get.
Yeah. All right, no worries then, Steve. I'll leave you to it. And thanks to anybody who's listened. Yeah, cheers for being around, guys. Thank you.
All right, catch you later. Yeah. Good night, everyone.
Bye, mate. Bye-bye.